Hi Yvonne, this is Becky. The first thing I'm going to show you how to do is isolate your data so that you're only looking to reference information at Central Campus Library. So the first thing I recommend you do is go up here to the upper left corner of your screen and click this little box here so that everything in your data set is highlighted. The next thing I'm going to do is go over to Data up here on the top bar and select Sort. And then I'm going to make sure my data has headers. That box is checked. And then I'm going to sort by desk. Select desk. And then I'm just going to leave these other values in their default position. Okay, so now we see that our data is sorted alphabetically under desk. I'm looking at this column. And I am going to just go ahead and highlight using my left key. I'm going to scroll down. And I'm actually going to get rid of all of the Cato campus. So I'm going to right click and delete. And before I continue, I am going to save as a practice or a sample. So that I don't mess things up. Now, the next thing you see is central circulation. I'm going to go ahead and keep that. A lot of questions are fielded at the central campus circulation desk, and I think that's all right. So I'm just going to scroll down. We're going to keep that. There's lots of those. And then this next thing is central LC. That's the Learning Commons. That's an area on the second floor of the Central Campus Library. It's a little more open, conversation open, there's work tables, etc., and there's usually a staff member up there working. And then the third area is central reference, and that is the traditional reference desk. So we're going to keep all of those data for those three desks. So I'm just scrolling down to the end of the central reference, and then so we're up to row 1560, and then everything after that is information about other campuses that I do not need to know for this analysis. So I'm just going to highlight all of those and delete them. So I right click and delete. So now I have 1560 rows here. Actually, that first row is a header row, so I have 1559 rows of data. This ID row really doesn't mean anything to me, so I'm going to go ahead and delete that. The duration is an empty field. I'm going to delete that. And the entered by is a field that doesn't apply to us today, so I'm going to delete that. So now we have all data pertaining to Central Campus Library. This first column that says start date, I'm just actually going to change the format of those cells. So I click on this whole column, right click, and say format cells. And I just want it to show the day of the week as well as the actual date. So I'm going to click here under number to date, and I'm going to choose this option. Okay. And so now I actually am going to sort the data again according to day of the week. So I'm going to click this box up here in the left corner, right click. I'm going to go to sort. I'm going to scroll down to custom sort. My data has headers, is still checked. This time I'm going to go to the top of my list and select that start date. It's still organized by time of year, but within that is organized by day of the week. And so now we have our time of day. What we have here, everything's in military time. I'm going to add a new column. I'm selecting this column B. I'm going to go to Insert. And I'm just going to type in day of the week. And Mondays are going to I'm going to give them a code. So Mondays equal 1, Tuesdays equal 2, Wednesdays equal 3, Thursdays equals 4, Fridays equals 5, Saturdays equals 6, and they don't collect data on Sundays. And then I'm going to change my format of my cells. Sorry, this is kind of messy business. I'm going to go to general, or I'm going to go to number. I don't want any decimals. I just want 1s, 2s, 3s, etc. So now all of these Mondays, Monday, September 30th, I'm going to, I have my 1 in there. I'm going to grab this little corner here that makes it an arrow or a plus sign, and I'm just going to scroll down to get all of those Mondays. And then remember, all of the Tuesdays are 2s, so I'm going to do the same thing, irregardless of the time of the year. So now all of my Mondays are together. You see here in the left-hand column, all of my Tuesdays are together, etc. So now the next thing we'll do is look at start time. So now we're going to resort our data according to start time, which is just time of day. So we're going to go back to click the whole data set. We're going to go to sort. This time we're going to start time and go to OK. These first few items say 0. That must be a start time that was not identified. And then you see everything's military time. And so the next thing I would recommend is that you create some categories. So I'm going to create a new column. I just click on column D with my left mouse, right click and do insert. I'm going to say time of day. 1 equals, it looks like maybe things start around 7 a.m. or so. 1 equals 7 to 9. 2 equals, 1 to 11 a.m. And it looks like, let's see, 2006, so that is equivalent to about 8:30. So we'll just leave our categories as they are. I'm just going to expand this so it's a little easier to look at, and then shrink this up by, see here I have this double-headed arrow on the left side. I'm just going to double click and that brings it up for me. And I don't really know what to do with these top items, so we're just going to hide them because I think their data are not going to be relevant since nobody coded the time of day. So I'm just going to hide them. I can always get back to them later. So now everything from 7:30-ish to 9, we're going to give it a 1. Oh, once again, we need to change the format. See, that came in as a time of day. We're going to change this to just a basic number. So I click on my column, right click, hit format cells, go to general. No, we don't want general, we want number with no decimal places, and OK. So now I'm going to give everything from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. a 1. And then everything from 9:01 to 11, we're going to give it 2. You know, these times are arbitrary. If you feel like you need different time slots, that is completely fine. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and save that file. And I'm going to go back to the top of the page. So now essentially we're looking at, I'm just making this yellow so we're able to keep our eyes on the right things. Now we're able to look at day of the week or time of the day. So now let's just see what happens if we take our data and click here in the top left corner and go to sort, or go to data and then sort. This time let's sort by time of day. And then this time let's add a level, this day of the week. So now we're sorting time of day and day of the week, and we'll see how things shake up. So you can see here, all of this first batch are all first thing in the morning, and day of the week over here are the Mondays. And then we've got first thing in the morning to the Tuesdays. Okay, so we got things coded. Okay, so now that we have your data coded by day of the week and time of the day, let's bring those two components together and do day of the week times time of the day. So first of all, I'm just going to go ahead and hide this start time item, this start time column, just so it doesn't distract my eyes so much. And so now everything in this group, we're going to code day of the week times time of the day. So now we know these are Mondays from 7 to 9. So I'm just going to go Monday, 7, 9. a.m. So now everything that's 1, 1 is going to be Mondays from 7 to 9 a.m. So I'm just going to go ahead and click that plus sign in the lower right corner of that cell and bring those down so that everything that's a 1, 1 is coded Monday, 7 to 9 a.m. And then I'm going to do the same thing. All these are Tuesdays from 7 to 9 a.m. So we're going to go Tuesday, 7 to 9 a.m. So now everything that's 2 1s, we're going to have that newly created code. Okay, and then we'll continue doing that. For example, 3_1 is going to be Wednesdays from 7 to 9 a.m. And then I'm going to go ahead and complete this data coding, and you can do the same in your spreadsheet. Okay, so now that I have my data coded according to day of the week and time of the day, let's do some counts. And we're going to let the Excel do our counting for us to see if we can figure out what days are the most popular, then what times of days are the most popular, and then we'll do day of the week times time. So first of all, let's just do real quick our days of the week. So to do that, we go to Formulas up here on the top ribbon, go to More Functions, go to Statistical, scroll over, and we're looking for the item that says CountIf. And we're going to click CountIf, and then this range and criteria pop up. We're going to leave this pop-up window here. We're going to go back to our initial report, and we're going to click this column. And then up here, the same thing up here is also down here. So this is looking at everything in column B, and we want it to begin with row B. So we're going to type 2 here, and then 1560 is our other our endpoint. And this time we're asking for everything that is a 1. So we just type in 1 for our criteria. And you see we have 361 reference transactions that were coded on Mondays. We're going to do the same thing for Tuesdays. So we go to More Functions, Statistical, scroll down to CountIf. Here it is. This time we're going to go back to our report, select column B again, and we're going to again type in 2 to 1560. This time we're looking for everything coded as a 2. And select OK. And I'm going to go ahead and do this for the other days of the week. Okay, so now I have all of my transactions coded. I'm going to go ahead and create a total of these items. So to do that, I type in equals sum, do a left paren, highlight all the rows I want to add, and do the right paren and hit enter. And it says I have 1,559 items coded, so that's good. And now let's just figure out the percentages so we can see which days of the week are most popular. First of all, we're going to change our format in this column to be percentages. So we click, right click, go to Format Cells, and go to Number, and say Percentage. And we'll go ahead and leave this at 2 decimal places and say OK. So now we can just go to Equals, click the Monday item, hit your backslash for divide by the total. And we're going to do that for each of these items. And then I like to do a total at the bottom to just make sure everything adds up to 100 as it should. And so now just on quick glance, we can see that Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays are the busier days of the week. Tuesdays fall close behind, and then Fridays and then Saturdays are much quieter. So now I'm going to move over here to time of day, and I am going to do the same sort of counting. So you remember, we click in the cell where we want our data to go. We're going to go to More Functions, to Statistical, scroll down to CountIf. We're going to select our range. This time we're looking at the time of day column. And remember, we're looking at data in rows 2 through 1560. This time we're looking at everything that comes up as a 1. This time I'm going to show you a different shortcut that I use. I just copy and paste this figure into all of my other cells. I'm just doing Control-C, Control-V. And then I'm going to go up here to this area and just change my information. So remember, we're looking at everything from row D to 1560. And then we're looking for the 2s. Again, we're going from row D2 to 1560. This time we're looking at for the 3s. So now I'm going to total everything up. So I go to equals, type in the word sum, do a left parenthesis, highlight all of these items, and do a right close parenthesis and enter. And you see here that this 1552 doesn't quite match up to the 1559, and that's because, if you recall, our data had some entries where there were no time of day calculated. So once again, I want to calculate the percentage, so I click on I, this column I. I guess that's, yeah, column I, right click. We're just changing this cell type to be a %. So I click % and OK. And I'm going to type in equals, click on your time of day, backslash, click on the total. And I'm going to do this for each of the items. And then again, I'm going to total this up to make sure it adds up to 100 as it should. And it does. So remember all of the Mondays from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m.? Let's count those up. So I'm going to click in my count cell, go to More Functions, Statistical. We're looking for CountIf again. I'm going to click on my full data set, click in this green column, and this time we want it to read Monday, 7 a.m. And you want to be sure to have the syntax exactly right or it won't work. And you see I do not have my syntax right. So I'm going to go back to report and see how I'm going to just copy and paste this syntax and go back to my counting sheet, and up here in this ribbon where I enter in data, I'm going to delete what I just first typed and replace it. So now we see we have 24 instances where we had reference transactions on Mondays from 7 to 9. Let's go. I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste this formula. I'm going to go C, Control V. And remember, we have to fix our syntax. So let's go back and take a look. Okay, so we have Tuesday from 7 to 9 a.m. So I'm just clicking in the cell. Control. Remember, we're just copying the syntax so we have it right. And we're going to replace the Monday syntax with the Tuesday syntax. I think. And hit enter. So now we have 38 counts of Tuesdays from 7 to 9 a.m. Let's do it for Wednesdays, and then hopefully you get the picture and you can continue on with that if you like. So let's do Wednesdays. I'm going to Control C and Control V. So we have our basic CountIf formula here, and we want to be sure we have the syntax appropriately written for Wednesday. So let's go back and see how I wrote Wednesdays. I just call that WED:. So we're just going to fix that to WED. And then we can do the same for Thursdays. The key is to know what you did the first time around. All right. Well, hopefully you get the picture. And so now you can continue all of this through your Monday through Saturday for your different time slots. There's going to be a whole bunch by the time you're done. And if you add them up, you should come up to 1,552 when you are finished. I think I'm going to stop there and let you give that a try and let me know if you have any questions. I hope that helps. Thanks, Siobhan.